Metaverse token Gamium surged 340% after the project announced a partnership with social media giant Meta and telecommunications firm Telefonica. Gamium will work with the two companies on the Metaverse Activation Program, which is an initiative to help scale Web3 startups. George, I'm going to kick this one off to you first. Meta has really been trying their thing in the metaverse. It hasn't been totally working out for them, but Mark Zuckerberg has been firm on his metaverse stance. He really believes it's the future, and now we have this partnership. What do you make of it?
Let's play a game. Jen, what does this thing do? Because you're going to have to convince me to care about this type of stuff. Like, what is scaling the Web3 through the metaverse even really mean?
Yeah, that's a great question, George. And this is not a story that I'm going to come in and convince you on. This really sounds like an incubation project, right? Where Facebook is going to provide support. They said they're going to provide some of their proprietary technology to Web3 startups that come into this incubation project. The telecommunications company, it sounds like they're going to provide some kind of infrastructure, but this isn't something that I'm going to convince you on. I think the metaverse is definitely super far away, but Meta's commitment to it is something that's quite interesting, especially as we see them losing billions of dollars on their thesis. So I'm not going to convince you on this. I think it is an incubation project for Biddle season, and it's important that, I think Web3 projects get support.
Yeah. I guess I am proud of Meta for kind of sticking to their guns. They used to have this big cash cow with Facebook, and they moved over to this Meta idea, and they're really leaning into it, even though it's clearly not working. The market cap is completely fallen off a cliff, and they're going to keep trying to do it. I just don't buy the whole, we need a token for this, we need a token for that, because I don't know why I would want to be involved with the meta version of the metaverse. I feel like that's the wrong way to do it. I feel like if we're going to go and be metaverse people, we should have the big old decentralized metaverse. But maybe I'm just having wishful thinking there. Wendy, what do you have to say?
So I just wanted to pull something up really quick. I know I should have sent it to Control. I didn't have a chance to, but Baron, I was reading about layoffs for Meta, and I believe they laid off over 11,000 people. So I'm curious I'm very curious as to why they have money to pay for this type of stuff when they've let people off. So I don't know.
Well, their stock went up after they laid off 11,000 people. That's how it works,
What a bunch of haters. What a bunch of haters stock traders are.
It's called a RIF.
I have a theory.
They
hired 10,000 people for the metaverse, right? Then they laid off 11,000 people when, the economy took a turn. I have a theory that programs like this will bring the skills that they were looking for from those people that maybe got laid off back into their ecosystem in a little bit of a different way. So they can continue to innovate and leverage what people are building in Web3 without actually having to have them in-house. I don't know. Ben, what do you think?
Well, I think Facebook's track record with Web3 generally is pretty parlous. I mean, it started with Libra, that failed. It went to DM, that failed. It was sold off. Then they kind of went on to the metaverse with the Meta rebranding. That seems to not do very well. And then this is seems to be a classic case of kind of banging on a buzzword to try and make some buzz, and they seem to be making buzz, but it's not the same as really building a real project with legs. So I'm a little suspicious of this, but I think it's good that they're trying. I think the whole thing about Facebook and Meta kind of raises a bit of a conundrum for people who believe in decentralization, because on the one hand, we want to see the kind of decentralized metaverse, but is Meta really going to be building that for us? I think that's really highly debatable.
Yeah, I don't know if Meta's the one to take us to the decentralized virtual world that I know I dream of. But Wendy, I want to toss it off to you for the price action. From a trading perspective, are you watching these gaming and metaverse tokens? What do you make of these tokens surging so much and pumping on news like this, especially in a bear market?
To me, I don't chase green candles, so I don't think anybody else should be chasing green candles unless you know how to trade this stuff. I think it's super, super risky to get involved in things that have pumped this hard in this bear market. I know there's some type of argument between if is it a bull market, is it a bear market, et cetera. I still think it's a bear market. I still think we're going to see a lot more downside. I would just be really cautious. What is it, George? How do you say it? Buy the rumor, sell the news? Is that how traders are supposed to do their thing? Is that it?
I think that's right. I'm not much of a trader myself, but that's what I hear.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know, but yeah.
Yeah. So you're not buying it?
I'm not buying something that pumps 300% in a bear market. Are you kidding me? I like to keep these types of markets are protect your capital markets. You're supposed to use minimal risk and protect as much capital as you can and consider making like solid plays. Just because Meta's in partnership with these people doesn't mean the project's going to do well or sustain, especially price action. As we've seen in the past, Meta failed miserably towards the metaverse. So I don't know if I would trust them or want to put money into the project just because of their partnership and hold long term. I would actively trade this though, maybe even short it, not financial advice.
Yeah. And if my not financial advice as a Bitcoin maximalist means anything to anyone here, I guess if it's difficult to describe what the project does, say, Jen, when I say what does it mean to scale the Web3 world, and you kind of have to go through this gobbledygook to tell me what it is, then...
Are you saying I gobbledygooked? Because
no,
I'm just telling you what the story said. Okay.
I'm saying if people say, why did you buy this? And you say, oh, I don't know, it went up 300%, then maybe rethink your thesis.
One of the things I will say is like, even though like what we see in the gaming community, people have their groups that they rock with, that they resonate with. So if somebody likes a particular game or a particular project, they're going to be more likely to participate just in that ecosystem alone. And again, we've seen this with gaming, like people that like Xbox Game 1 or Xbox Game 2, they are like gung-ho on that particular project. They're not really going to merge over and play a separate game for the most part. Like the gamers I know, they are like obsessed with one singular game and they play that thing 24/7, 365 and always ask mommy to bring them chicken nuggets and flat orange soda.
Well, I will say before we move on to the next story, Gamium is not a metaverse that I'd heard of before. I went to their website. It seems like they're playing with this like social metaverse idea where you create an avatar and then you can move around through different worlds. And they envision a metaverse where you can like go to the bank and meet your friends and do all the things that we spoke about during the bull market. And so
I love going to the bank. It's one of my favorite things. I can't wait to do it in the metaverse.
Yeah, same. You know, I go there, I check my balance, I make sure everything is good.
You don't use your cellular device?
No. I go to physical banks.